Hello. So I want to teach you how to make the revision log for your class. Now this is something that you need to have for this class so we can use it all year long, but it's also a skill that you want to have for the rest of your life. So as long as we live in a world where there's Google and where there are computers, being able to create surveys, which is what we're doing, is really crucial. So you see what's on my screen. I'm going to help you to create this, and then we're going to add in all the questions that you need for the revision log. So let's go to the beginning. To create the revision log, you need to get to Google Forms. So you could start from any Google page that has the 9 dots. Let's start from my Gmail. And I scroll down once I've clicked on the 9 dots until I find the Forms symbol. So I'll click on the Forms symbol. And once I open it, you'll see it lists all the forms I've recently created, starting with the most recent and going back. I want to start with this blank form. I'm not creating a quiz. I'm creating a form. They look almost the same, but I'm not going to worry about explaining the difference right now. So I click on the blank form with the colorful plus sign. You can hear my wife in the background playing with the cats. And once I open it up, I need to put the right title on it. So I'm going to click here where it says Untitled Form so that I'll be able to find this form when I need it. So I type in the keywords, which are revision log, and you will need to have those words in yours. And then I'll type in my name, and you will type in your name. I'm going to type in test because I'm going to delete this later because I keep making these forms to demonstrate and I don't want to keep them. Now watch what happens. I'm going to move my cursor down here to the other place it says Untitled Form. When I click there, it copies what I just wrote down. So I'm moving very fast, but you should feel free to stop and pause the video and go back if you're falling behind. And I expect that you will be stopping because you will need to. So now the next thing is I've got my document title and I've got the name of the form that will pop up when the form is open when I'm filling it out, which I'll show you this later, but I just previewed it, and so I need to have this pop up whenever I'm filling it out. And now I need to put the questions in. So the questions that you need are going to either they have been or are going to be sent to you as an assignment, and they've already been sent to you in the chat of the meets where the Google Meet where I explained it. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste each of these in to my form. So I'm only going to do that with a couple of them because I don't want to spend the whole time doing it. So in order to copy and paste something, I highlight it and then I hold down the CTRL control key and then I type C, and that's copy. Then I move over here and I hold down CTRL, let me clear this space out, and then I type in V. And so I should see exactly the same thing here and here. Now I need to make this the right kind of question, so don't worry about what a linear scale is. This question needs a short answer because you have to type in what the assignment name is. Now in this case, the first assignment name we have is the 3 objects, the plural noun essay, but you can't type anything in the answer here. In order to type something into the answer, you would have to go create a preview, give yourself the option of filling out the form, and then you could type that in. So we're creating the possibility of doing that. And now I'm going to delete or close this out rather, and without submitting it because I don't want to submit too many fake ones. All right, so I now need to make sure that this question is required so that when I'm filling out the form, I can't submit it without remembering to do all the fields. So I click the required button so it turns purple. And now I'm all set to go to the next question. So I click the plus sign at the top of this row here, and that creates a next question. And now I go back to my list of questions and I just copy in exactly what it says. Please don't type it in case you make mistakes, but it should be exact. All of these questions should be typed in exactly. And now you'll see that the artificial intelligence of Google changed the question type from multiple choice to short answer. And again, it gives me a space to write the answer in, which I can't use right now. And I have to make this a required question. Most of the questions will be required, but not all. And then I'm ready to move on to the next one. And so we keep doing that until we have the complete form. Now let me go in and see if I can find a complete form. So, and see what it looks like. So form, revision log. Okay, let's see if I completed this one. No, I didn't complete this one. Okay. But I did complete this one. Okay, so this one is revision log first last. Obviously it's a different fake version of this. And in this one, you can see that I filled in all of the questions. Now, not all of them are required. This one is, this one is, this one is, this one is, this one, which is a really interesting one that I'll show you in a second, is. This one is required, but now when we get to the second draft questions, they are not required because you may fill out one revision sheet before you get to your second draft. You will, in fact. And so you will only fill out these questions the second time that you revise your essay. And you'll notice that the last three questions are not required. And the final question is, what are your further plans? Do you want to publish it? Do you want to continue revising it? Publishing means, is there a place you want to send it? It might be the magazine Teen Ink, or it might be just on the school website, or it might be, we might create a newsletter for our class. We will. Or is this something that you just aren't ready to keep working on and you want to just stop working on this and put aside? So I need to go back and show you this really interesting date question. So the revision date, okay, which you enter the day that you submitted the revision, that you finished the revision. So this revision date is a date question. So of all the different types of questions, most of which, some of which you know, some of which you can't exactly figure out, you're going to make this one date. And that means it allows you, so let's go back to the preview so we can see what we just created. When I go to the date question, it allows you to choose a date by clicking on the date symbol and clicking on the appropriate day. And again, I'm going to close out this preview one and I'm not going to submit it because I don't want to clutter up my results form. All right, so let's say that I've finished my form and I will always have access to it by doing what I keep doing without saying much about it, is going to my Google Forms, or if you want, going to my Google Forms. There's many ways to get there. There's another way to get there too, which is to type in forms.google.com. You do have to be in your CPS email. So you can see that the little symbol that pops up here says Chicago Public Schools. It has my name, and if I float over it, it gives my CPS email. I should always be sure about that. All right, so now I have my forms. I can see that I've created two while we were talking. And I can always find my revision log because you're only going to have one revision log. You are going to fill it out many times, but now comes the really exciting part. When you fill it out, you don't create a whole new revision log. You create an Excel, a Google spreadsheet. All right, so let's close this out. Go back to the revision log that I created. And now you'll notice it says questions. So when it's in this format, when I can see all this stuff at the top, including the purple send button, when I can see all this stuff at the top, I see questions. I can edit those questions. I can't fill them out. If I'm looking at all this stuff at the top, I'm looking at the editor's version. And I also see responses. Now there's a number there, how many times I've filled this form out. And it's actually going to give you some graphic information. It's very exciting. But I don't want to really analyze that right now. What I want to do is I want to click on this green form. And I want to view responses in Sheets. So Sheets is another Google application. It creates what's called a spreadsheet. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to fill out a sample form and show you in a second. So it collects the time that I filled this out, the date and the time. So you can see all of these three were created last week on Thursday. And then it collects the answers that I typed into all the questions. So let's go back to my form, go back to questions, click on the preview. That allows me to fill out a sample. I'm not going to fill all of it, but draft topic, fake essay, okay? And draft reader's name, fake reader, and draft reader's comments, fake comments. Now, you'll notice if I look here, draft topic, there's none of that I just typed appears here yet. So please look, you see that these are my previous responses. As soon as I hit submit, however, at the bottom of this sheet, and I have to fill out, let me try to hit submit. It's not going to let me because those are the required questions. So, fake focus, I do have to put in a date, so let's put today's date in, and I have to put in fake revisions made. And I don't have to fill out these last three questions because, as you remember, those are not required for my first draft. Okay, so it accepted my submission, so I can close this out. You see it says submit another response. This is one of those that you will be able to submit as many of these as you need. And later, if you do one and you don't like it, you made a mistake, you can always erase them too. So now you see it says fake essay, fake reader. All the things I just typed in are showing up in one row. So you will, every time you do a revision, every time you write an essay, and every time you make a revision, and then later every time you make a second revision, you are going to have a new row on your on your revision log responses. It's going to automatically update this form. You don't really need to think about it. So how do I find this form? Well, the same way you found the revision log. You see, you need to get to Sheets Home. So one way to do that, hi, I have a cat. He's standing up. I don't know if you can see him. Hi, Guy. Back to business. So one way to do that is go back to your email, click on the 9 dots, and look for the Sheets symbol, and click on that. Another way is to type in sheets.google.com and click on that, and you will see that this is exactly the same as this. And there's a third way to get to it as well, which is to go from an existing sheet and click on the green symbol right here, and that will get you to Sheets Home. Now in all of those, you should see that the responses, which was last opened at, you know what time I'm making this, 3:20, last opened 3:20, last opened 3:20. It's the same sheet. Okay, so let me close out 2 of those so I don't have them too cluttered here. So I'm in Google Sheets Home and I open this, and let's make sure we find those fake words. Yep, it's all exactly as I left it. And you will always be able to find that by going back to Sheets Home and in the search bar, typing in revision log, and it will come up. Okay, and the other ones come up too. Isn't that convenient? So one thing you should have learned from this is that anytime you are looking for a Google application, you type whatever the application is, mail.google.com will get you to email, and sheets.google.com will get you to Sheets, and forms.google.com will get you to Forms, and so on and so forth. And that's true for every single one of these, whether it's Drive, Contacts, so on and so forth, photos. So you just learned a bunch of stuff. It's probably enough for today. So if you have any questions, please contact me at ipabrams at cps.edu. And this is not today's message.